Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. First of all, thank you all for tuning in. It's been a very eye opening week, and honestly, I did not expect this much progress the way I thought it would be. So, bear in mind, I did spend a lot of time trying to do different things according to the plan. It was really overwhelming at first trying to figure out what I'm actually doing, including with ChatGPT, because the thing is with ChatGPT, it's not really easy to figure out what exactly you're doing. So the thing is, I got a week by week plan for 2 weeks to figure out how to use Python for software engineering. Essentially, my end goal was to try to make an application in Windows where essentially I use Python with tkinter for file database basics by learning those things. But the thing is, it's really hard to figure out exactly what I'm trying to do. For example, from a beginner's perspective, you wouldn't know what variables, types, control flow functions really are. I mean, I knew that because I had some background in Python, but obviously I needed a refresher to remember these terms as well. So, on top of that, it gave me a bunch of things to try out, like deliberately practicing some functions and then setting milestones per week. Milestones can be anything going from creating a repository along with virtual environment and then going through multiple things at the same time. So, yeah, it was a lot of information all at once, which was quite a lot, honestly. So I had to go back to the drawing board and actually ask GPT to give me even more details when it came to week by week instructions. So I asked it to give me a bit more structure, or actually, to be honest, I just asked it how do I even study Python fundamentals from the first place. And that was only for 1 week. So GPT was really smart in trying to understand what I really needed. So it gave me like a bunch of sessions to do. So that was running codes, understanding control flow and functions, collections, files, dates and times, and then finally tkinter basics. That was just for the first week. And it gave me like a structured program in how to try to understand it or how to target it. And that's what I essentially did. And honestly, that helped a bit more than I expected, actually. While I was expecting to do a good 7 to 10 hours on just trying to do all of this, I was able to get it done within like 3 or 4 hours. Now, I do have to say that I do think that with my background in Python, it did help trying to understand all of this. So I did have a boost per se, but when it came to JSON and tkinter and database basics, I was struggling a bit over there to try to figure out what I'm trying to do. So I asked it for more sources, things like where can I get some documentation, where should I go to study this graphically or textually, things like that. So it again gave me much more reinforced database where I could just like read up on stuff and even give me a bit more information, even from an experience point of view. It was a great refresher, honestly. And then finally, I got down to the handsy stuff. I started trying to program and then I started learning basic things on how I can take input and like how I can try to use different ways of Python methods to understand what I'm trying to do, and even try to attempt at lead code. Lead code was nice. It genuinely gives a very different impression of how you can try to tackle Python, because lead code is like a bunch of questions where you are essentially forced out of your comfort zone in trying to figure out what you're trying to do. And honestly, that's the great thing about lead code. But the thing is, I don't see myself spending hours and hours behind lead code, because that's not something I would say lead code is more tailored towards people who want a professional life towards, let's say, Amazon or Microsoft or Google. And honestly, that's not my goal. I mean, I could be wrong. So if anyone has any comments, please do let me know before below. If anyone has any comments, do let me know below, because honestly, this is not. I'm not really experienced in that domain. I started creating my first tkinter application, and I was playing around with different variables and commands. and I had to use a bit of GPT there, as I said earlier, because I didn't exactly have background in TK Inter. So things like trying to get entry from the user from the software, on top of trying to create the window frame and all that, required me some extra AI knowledge. So in order to try to understand what I'm actually doing with my task planner application, I thought about trying to get the most basic things done, which was adding tasks, then persisting, making sure that I can view and manage my tasks along with a search and filter. And finally, maybe also try to implement a recurrence logic. And then the idea is to like save it in a database so that nothing is lost when I close the app. It should be there. And that was pretty much it. That was what I did for the past week. And I did get a bit more into week two because I was interested in seeing how GPT could lay out my foundation for the next week in terms of what I can build. And that unfortunately included a lot of database tactics, SQL, and that is also something that I have to study a bit more because I'm not really sure what I'm trying to do with SQL. But yeah, that's all I have to report on what I have to say. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure to subscribe and follow my content for more AI assisted learning videos.